Greetings from the Sunshine State. Today I plan to compare and contrast how various silicone oils react in side-by-side flip cups. As you can see, I've accumulated a collection of silicone oils over the past couple of years, and I've always wondered whether they behave differently, or are all silicone oils the same? When I first began my fluid art journey, I always used dimethicone 500. Now I believe dimethicone and silicone are the same thing, but I always had good results with it to create cells. But nowadays I rarely use it because there's so many other techniques out there where one can create cells without using silicone. And the problem with using the oils is that it tends to leave a residue on the painting even after the paint has dried. So before applying any type of varnish or resin finish, that residue needs to be removed. Otherwise the oil repels any varnish or resin, and problems can occur on the surface of the canvas. In the future, I'll do a tutorial on how to remove the oily silicone residue. So be sure you subscribe to my channel, click on the bell and select all so that you're immediately notified whenever I post a new video. So I'll show you the rest of my assortment. I already introduced you to dimethicone 500. This one I have never tried. It came in a package with the pouring medium. It's called Pouring Masters Silicone Pouring Oil. So we'll see how that works. This was very popular a couple years ago. It's actually for the hair. It's Nourishing Coconut Milk Anti-Breakage Serum. And the reason a lot of us used it was because the first ingredient is dimethicone. And it has a nice smell to it. I haven't used this yet, but it has received excellent reviews. Helmar Silicone Oil H4000. Evidently, well, the claims are that it doesn't leave a residue, so we'll see if that's the case. And for the heck of it, I'm throwing in, it's not silicone, but it's jojoba oil. I've had it on the shelf, and I must have gotten it for a reason, so I wanted to see if this creates cells. I've used linseed oil in the past with some success, but not the jojoba oil. Alright, I'll set up and we'll see what happens. So I have my setup here. I'm using these little 4x4 canvases that I used a long time ago when I was practicing. And so I'll just report over those. Everything's labeled here so you can see. And these are just custom-made colors that I had left over. This is like a purpley gray. Then I decided white. This is I think it's pink topaz, that Modern Masters. And then a custom-made yellow. Kind of a dingy looking yellow, but I thought it would serve its purpose for today. So, since these canvases are small, don't want to use a lot of silicone oil, so I thought I'd only use it in 2 colors. So I chose the purpley gray and the pink, and I'll mix them in these little cups and then pour everything into this bigger cup. These are little 2-ounce cups. I think this is a 3 or 4 ounce cup. So I'm going to use a pipette to take a drop and put it into each of these colors, because I don't want to pour it in. I want to have everything equal. So 1 drop and 1 drop, and that's it. Now I'll use a fresh pipette for the next experiment. All right, so I'm going to stir the dimethicone in. I find I like to stir them in well. If I don't, I tend to get strange creatures and phthalic images in my pores with silicone, and the oil isn't completely stirred in. All right, now pour my cup here. So I'll use the purple on the bottom. I haven't done really small pours like this for a long time. It's strange dealing with small amounts of paint. So I better get it all out of here. And then I'm going to put in white with no dimethicone, and then my pink that has dimethicone. The white I pulled off the shelf, so I'm not sure if it's a cloud mix. It looks like it's reacting with the purple, so I might have some satin enamel in it. Oh well, it'll make it even more interesting if that's the case. And then end with the yellow. So I'll leave that there and then turn them all over at the same time. So the next one is the silicone, the Pouring Masters silicone pouring oil. So I'll do the same. And we'll see what happens. Dimethicone 500. Pouring Masters silicone oil, coconut serum, Helmar, jojoba oil, do your thing. We'll let it drip down for a few seconds. Ooh, that's a sounds. I'll just do each one that'll fit them. That looks similar. Just see the inside of these cups. I don't know if you can see that. Look like leopard prints. Coconut serum. Helmer. Oh, see, the jojoba oil hardly has any cells, but the others look similar. So I'll show you a close-up of each. This is the dimethicone 500. It's very pretty. This is the silicone that I always used. And I'll see if I get an angle to show you that there is an oily residue. Well, you don't see too much. There's a bit. You can see the little divots. Right now you don't see too much. This is the Pouring Masters silicone oil. Again, very pretty. Don't see, you see some divots there. And this is the coconut milk. Now you can see where I burnt the paint. But different results from the other two. Different types of cells. There's smaller cells and then more plain areas. And this is the Helmar. This is very nice. Look at the cells with the that are framed. I think I'll try Helmar on a larger painting sometime, see what happens. There are little ones too. You see a couple divots. Let's see what it looks like when it's dry, whether there's any oily residue. They claim there isn't. And this is a jojoba oil, as you can see. Not the same results as the silicone oil, but interesting. Right now it looks smooth, but we'll see when it dries. So here are the dry results of the first experiment, the flip cup. This is the dimethicone 500. You can see there are multiple cells, all different sizes. You may recall that I only put the dimethicone in two colors, the pink and the purplish gray. And then the second one is the Pouring Masters silicone oil. A different display of cells. Some are more distorted. So I think between these two, I prefer the first one. The cells have a good shape to them. So the third one is the coconut milk hair serum. And you can see there, even though I put the oil in the pink, there are a lot of plain pink spots. There's some cells. So not a big fan of that one. Now this is the Helmar silicone oil from Australia, and I really like these cells. They're framed by different colors or multicolored cells. And I like the smaller type cells rather than the big distorted ones. Then last but not least, the jojoba oil that I threw in for fun. You can see there are just a few cells. So in a few weeks I'll do a demonstration on how to clean off the oily residue that will be on the surface. It's important to clean it off before doing any varnishing or resining. Alright, on to the next experiment. This time I'm using an assortment of neon fluorescent colors. I believe they're mostly transparent, but just to see how the oils react with different colors. So again, I'll do a flip cup, and this time I'll put the oil in, let me see, I think I'll put it in the pinkish orange and in the blue. I'll give you a close-up of the second set of flip cups. This is the Dimethicone 500, and there is a big distorted area on the left. If I was trying to be artistic, I would have tilted that off, but I just had barely enough paint to cover the surface as is. I didn't get to the sides, as you can see. This is purely for a comparison and contrast experiment. It's still pretty cells. And then this is the Pouring Masters. Again, some pretty cells. Big blotches of the pinky orange. The coconut milk. Now, I was impressed with this one, whether the coconut milk works better with more transparent paints. Because I like these little wispy cells. I wasn't impressed with it, with the coconut milk in the last flip cup. This is the Helmar silicone oil. I was impressed with this one as I was with the first flip cup. Just like with the dimethicone, there's a big blotchy, distorted area, or actually two big areas. Some nice cells with like multicolored cells, but not as successful with the transparent paint. And then the jojoba oil is in a world of its own. Some pretty cells there. Do you see those little pinpoint cells? My camera's trying to adjust. I'm sure they'd come up if I torched some more. So there you have it, experiment number 2. Now my next experiment will be to do a swipe using these fluorescent neon colors, but using black as my swipe color, and I'm only going to put silicone oil in the black swipe color. I'll take you down for a close-up of the neon fluoro swipe. So this is with the Dimethicone 500. Clearly defined cells. This is the Pouring Masters silicone oil. I like these here. So this one is impressive for this swipe. Coconut milk. Again, very pretty. It's going to be hard to decide with this. This is the Helmar silicone oil. And the jojoba is in a world of its own, and I kind of like the weird things that, the unexpected things that are happening with the jojoba oil in all the experiments. So let me know which silicone oil you prefer. It seems it's hard to choose one because they performed differently with the different paints. But let me know. And there's my audience. basking in the sunshine. Hey, Citrine. Here's my other lazy kitty, Aria. We're both in the art room, keeping me company. Aria. Hey. Lazy, lazy. I know what'll perk her up. You hungry? You saw that ear perk up at least. Well, that's it for today. Have a good day.